Welcome to this week's edition of The Answer Desk. I am Bill, your host for today, and with me is Paul Muller, the founder of Vision Retirement. So let's get right to it and pick a question that was submitted.
Yeah, give it a spin. We're not spinning.
Is that good enough?
That's perfect.
All right.
How does somebody submit a question for one of our episodes?
They could email us at Vision Retirement. They can post something on our social media channels, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Or even give us a call.
Yeah.
So
we get a lot of questions. Sometimes they're one-offs and sometimes they're more entailed, but we figured we'd like to share with you some of the common things that we hear.
So it looks like you're our divorce expert because there's another divorce-related question.
Yep.
So the question is, I'm getting divorced. Any advice you can give me on splitting retirement assets?
I guess if you're getting divorced, my advice would be don't get married. No, but in a serious note, there's a lot of things to consider when you're going through a divorce. Lots of things, from family to money to assets. I think one of the biggest things, Bill, that we look at with retirement assets is that, if you save on a pre-tax basis, and you have a bucket of money that's sitting in a retirement account that's never been taxed. And I'm just going to use $1 million just for our conversation. So if you got $1 million in a 401k, let's say, it's not really $1 million because it's never been taxed. So you've got a partner called Uncle Sam, and Uncle Sam is going to get their share. Mm-hmm. So if I was getting divorced again, which I wouldn't, once is enough, but you want to look at non-retirement assets very, very differently than retirement assets. So if you've got $1 million in a checking account or a savings account and $1 million in the 401k, they're not created equal.
Right.
So depending on the family dynamics and other negotiations going in, that 401k has to be reduced by the amount of tax liability that's owed. So let's say you're in the 30%, 32% tax bracket, you got to take away $320,000 more in order to equal that money that's in the checking account. Yeah, absolutely.
Does it matter which state you're in? Like there's community property states and all that. Like, does that matter at all?
Yeah, it changes some of the dynamic towards it because community property states split assets a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, you still have to come down with what is my true number, right?
Right.
So I want to know what my true number is, split it, and then move on from there.
And don't you have to, I guess, label or designate retirement accounts correctly, or how do you? I don't know the term that I'm looking for, but
yeah. Well, it all comes down to equitable division of assets. So there different retirement accounts are going to be traded differently. Like I think what you may be referring to as a Roth IRA has already been taxed. Right. So in the case of a Roth IRA, you can go dollar for dollar. But anything that still has any type of liability towards it, needs to be reduced by that liability. Could be a loan too, right? On a house, if you have a $1 million house and you have a $500,000 mortgage, you don't have a $1 million house, you have a $500,000 house. So it's very, very similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I have the option of taking a traditional IRA versus money in a savings account, there's $500,000 in each.
Yeah.
I'll go for the savings account.
Yeah, you will. You're damn right. I love it.
Anything else I should know about?
My attorney told me a funny joke if you want to hear it.
Go for it.
Why is divorce so expensive?
Why?
Because it's worth it.
We'll end it there.
We'll end it.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next week on The Answer Desk.